Jai Hind. I, Dr. Nishant Kumar Pathak, Associate Professor, Computer Science Engineering Department, Ajay Garg Engineering College. Now, today I am going to discuss big data. Content is introduction, type of digital data, history of big data, introduction to big data, and drivers of big data architectures, characteristics, and big data technology and component. Now, first thing is, what is big data? This is the major questions that having always rise the side of student, the side of different type of peoples always ask the questions. Please tell me what is big data? Big data means a very large amount of data that is growing very fast every day. The data having generated in daily the number of data is having generated due to the reason of the social media, due to the reason of different type of social platforms. Now the big data is what? Big data means a very large amount of data that is growing very fast every day. This data is so big and complex that normal computer and traditional data management tools can't be stored and the process such type of big data, such type of large amount of data. So the big data's the work is process the large amount of data in simplified manner. If anybody asks the question, so what is the big data? Big data means a very large amount of data that is growing very fast. This data is so big and complex, and normal computers and traditional data management tools can't be stored the process it in good order. In simple words, big data is just like a normal data but larger in size. Same. Big data is just like a normal data but much larger in size. Example, social media like Facebook. More than 500 terabytes of new data is added to Facebook database every day. How many? 500 terabyte data is added to Facebook database in every day. This data is created through photos, videos, messages, comments, like and other activities of user. More than 500 terabyte data. So it is 500 terabyte data where you have stored. It is possible to store the simple computer? No, it's not possible to store a huge amount of data. So here the concept having introduced the big data, because the big data store this amount of data very easily. So that in simple words, big data is what? Big data is just like a normal data but much larger in size. Now this is the chart and it shows how many emails sent per day, WhatsApp status, messages, Google search, Facebook post, tweets, Snapchat, SMS message and Instagram post per second. This chart shows how many data generated, different type of things that generated: emails, WhatsApp, Google, Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, SMS message, Instagram post, and this is the data that having generated in per second. So the number of data having increased day by day, number of data increase in fraction of second. It's very difficult to manage in simple or normal computer. By the help of the big data, it is easy to store, it is easy to process, and it is easy to represent. Now, daily activity chart. Daily activities user of Facebook over the year. In 2024, 2.11 billion Facebook daily activity users. In 2023, 2.11 billion, 2 billion. In 2022, in 2021, 1.93 billion data having generated. If you observe the chart, since 2016 to 24, the data having generated very fast manner. So it is very important how to process the data, how store the data, and how manipulate the data for the further enhancement or designing something new. In that situations, big data plays a very important role, very vital role. Now, type of digital data. It's a very simple but very powerful concept. Type of digital data. Digital data having categorized 3 different categories. The first one is structured data. Second one is semi-structured data. And third one is uni-structured data. The question is raised, what is structured data? This type of data is organized in rows and columns, like in a table. It is easy to store, easy to search, and process. It has a fixed format. Example include financial data, machine logs, and demographic details. Semi-structured data, this is the hybrid of structured and unstructured data. Example include XML and JSON data. Now, unstructured data, this is the data of the different format such as the document, files, multimedia files, images, backup files, social media posts, audio files, and open-ended customer comments. So, the digital data having categorized 3 different parts. First one is what? Structure. Second one is semi-structure. And third one is unstructured data. And structured data having tabular formats, having some data in certain rows, some data in columns, and easy to process, easy to search, and easy to store. If I am talking about the semi-structured data, this is the hybrid structured data and unstructured data. Example include the XML. If talking about the unstructured data, so this data is different format such as document file, multimedia file, images files, backup file, social media file, post, audio, open-ended customer comments, and so on. Now, this chart shows the structured data and unstructured data. Structured data easier to manage and protect with legacy solution. Easy to manage. Structured data easy to manage, easy to protect, and easy to predict. If you want to do something, then easy predictions is possible in structured data. Requires less storage. If the thing is managed, then storage, which type of storage required? Required less storage. Estimates 20% of enterprise data, number, datas and strings, data in the format of numbers, dates, and strings can be displayed in rows and columns and relational database. It's represent in the form of rows and in the form of columns. Structured data. If talking about the unstructured data, can't be displayed in the form of rows and column. It's not possible to represent the data, unstructured data, in rows and column in tabular format. It's very difficult to identify and difficult to store in the form of table, and so in the form of table. Images, audios, videos, word processing files, email, spreadsheet is the best example of the unstructured data. The creations of the YouTube videos or create some social media's images, that all are stored in the form of unstructured way. The third point, it estimated 80% of enterprises data that having first time in the raw. The data analytics engineers having this convert this unstructured data in structured data for the future predictions or design some good model for future interviewer. Now, they require the more storage. It's very important. In structured data require the less storage, but in unstructured data requires more storage because it is unstructured, and unstructured things is very difficult to manage and very difficult to predict. More difficult to manage and protect with legacy solution. If you want to do something with unstructured data, it's very difficult because it's having it's having not a form, not even the formatted way. It's having very difficult to show in the formatted way. It's having not stored in the form of the table. It's having not stored in the form of the table as well as in the form of the rows and in the form of the column. So in the unstructured data can't be displayed in the row, columns and relational database. Manages audio, videos, word processes file, email and spreadsheets is the example. Estimate 80% of enterprises data is unstructured, requires more storage, and it's very difficult. It's more difficult to manage and protect with the legacy of the solution in unstructured data. But if you're talking about the structured data, it is easy to manage, easy to protect. It requires a less storage as comparison to unstructured data, and 20% enterprises data is available in the form of a structured way. The numbers, dates, strings are available in a structured manner and can be displayed the rows and columns in tabular format in structured data. Now, types of big data. Types of big data is also categorized in 3 categories. The first one is structured, second one is semi-structured, and third one is unstructured. Predefined data models like database, usually text only, easy to search and filter. The data stored in the form of tables, in the form of rows, in the form of columns. So the example is data, phone numbers, transitions, informations, all are stored in one place in structured big data. If talking about the semi-structured, both structured and unstructured quality and considered by easier to analyze than unstructured data, for example, email, CSV file, and so on. Now, the third one is unstructured, no predefined data method. No predefined data method. It means no methods having apply in unstructured big data. Data having not stored in the form of table, in the form of rows, in the form of columns. And if the data is not stored in the form of the table, in the form of rows, in the form of column, so it is very difficult to find out or search the data usually stored as a different type of files. Example, social media data, data in the form of the audio, data in the form of the files and images. Now, this is the example of unstructured, semi-structured and structured data. History of big data. Big data analytics started when the data created the large volume, when the data created the massive amount of data start being created, then this concept having introduced in 1990. Even before, the term big data is used using the computer spreadsheet to analyze the number and find the patterns. In the late 90s and the early 2000, data increased rapidly because of the new sources like internet, mobile, phone and the search engines. People started creating the more data than companies' cloud easily manage it. Another reason was speed. Data was being created very quickly, so it is also needed to pre-process quickly. It's very important. Now, sources of data. The first one is volume. The second one is velocity, then variety, veracity and value. What is volume? It represents the size of data. What is the size? It's a size, the less amount of size, very big amount of size, terabyte, megabyte. What is the size of data? Gigabyte, petabyte. It shows the volume. Second one is velocity. The speed at which the data is generated. If I am talking about the Facebook, if I am talking about the different social media sites, per second, there are huge and the large amount of data in the form of the audio, in the form of video, in the form of images, and so on. Now the variety, different type of data. Here, if I am talking about the variety, variety means here semi-structured, unstructured and structured. When the data comes in social medias, the generations and the patterns having totally different. It's having not like structured, it not shows the structured way, it's unstructured way. Because some having sending the images, some having to post the video, some upload the different things, different things. So the varieties are different. Veracity. It's very important, the data accuracy. If your data is accurate, then processing is easy. Manipulation is easy. And the value, useful data. It's very important. If the data is in a structured form, then processing is easy. And with the help of the processing, we generate the different type of good models. And on behalf of the models, we create some different the predictions things. Like with the help of the data, we have created machine learning models, we have created the AI generated models, we have designed the different type of searching atmospheres with the help of, if you have the massive of structures data you have. Now, Big data versus data science. Big data handling the large data, and data science analyze the data. Big data is handling the large amount of data, and data science analyze the large amount of data. Big data process the huge volumes of data and generated insights. And data science understand the patterns within the data and make the decisions. E-commerce, security, services, telecommunications generated the huge amount of data in daily basis. And with the help of these data science predict the things and generate the different types of model for the future references. Now the tools. Here Hadoop, Spark are used. Here R and Python types of things are used for analyzing the data. Now the introduction of big data platforms. Big data platforms are the comprehensive framework that enable organizations to store, process and analyze the large amount of structured and unstructured data. At their core, big data platforms are the comprehensive ecosystem of tools and technologies and infrastructure designed to handle the 3 V's of big data. First one is volume, second one is velocity, and third one is variety. These platforms empower the business to identify trends and optimize the operations by the leveraging computing, distributed computing, parallel processing, and advanced analytics techniques. From the data stored to the processings and visualizing, big data analytics platforms offer a comprehensive solution for managing and providing the power of data in the modern age. Big data platforms workflow is divided into following stages. First one is data collection. Second one is data storage. Third one is data process. And fourth is data analytics. Fifth one is data management and warehousing. Sixth one is data catalog and metadata management. The big data generally provide the platform. The workflow is divided in the following stages. Data collection. Data collection is very important because the number of sources generate the very big amount of data, and sources is social media sites, email, and different type of internet activities where the number of data is generated, and with the help of those data we collect the data, store the data, process the data, analytics the data, and with the help of all these 4 things generate the new model or generate the things for the comprehensive studies. Now, what is the need for a big data platform is to provide the user with efficient analytics tools specified designed for the handling the massive data set. Data engineers often utilize this platform to aggregate, clean and prepare data for insightful business analysis. Data scientists, on the other hand, use this platform to uncover relationship and patterns within the large data set using the advanced machine learning algorithm. Furthermore, users have the flexibility to design the customer application to their specific things. And with the help of all these things, we create certain models, we design the models, machine learning models, we design the AI models and different type of models. And with the help of these models that have been used for the different industries, it used for the healthcare, the model is plays a very vital role in the field, in each and every field. Nowadays, if you have the massive amount of data and you process the data in very frequent and good manners, then it is helpful in each and every areas. Even you are talking about, if you think about the I designed something new, then you studies the data and you are easily to deploy the data and design something new with the help of those data. So the data plays a very vital role in present time. This is the big data platform. The best big data platform is Apache Hadoop, the Facebook, Yahoo, Twitter, Netflix, Uber, Google Cloud, the New York Times, Walmart is the very good example. Amazon EMR is the example. Databricks are example. IBM InfoSphere, the Big Insights, Cloudera, Microsoft, Azure services are the base. This is the example of big data platform. And this is the component. In the next lecture, we discuss the component of big data. Data streaming. What is data streaming? What is the role of the big data analytics platforms? Data integrations with the warehouse and data governance. We discuss all these things in the next lecture. I discussed all these things. Provide the accurate data, cloud, warehouse and scalabilities, data discovery platforms, data, all these things discussed in the next video. Now, this is the architecture of data. Difference between the OLTP and OLAP. What is the meaning of OLTP? What is the role and which type of working they perform, OLTP and OLAP? All things discussed in next lecture. Okay, thank you.